We can now bring you more details of that meeting between President Jonathan and African leaders in Pretoria, South Africa. We're being joined by our South Africa correspondent, Betty Dibia, via Skype from Pretoria. Betty, good afternoon to you. What can you, apart from the fact that that meeting was a closed-door meeting, what other details can you give to us at this time?
Okay, I can't actually confirm whether that meeting has taken place or is taking place about now, because there's been a lot of hush-hush about the meeting. The president of South Africa has a guest house where he's housing all the visiting presidents, about 27 of them. So the concerned presidents, they may have the meeting, they may be having the meeting at this moment. They don't want any media. Probably we'll get to hear what the meeting has been about, but we know Boko Haram is at the heart of that meeting and how to beef up security or handle security issues in that region, in Nigeria and the surrounding states. We have the president of Chad, who was part of that meeting in France, and we have other West African presidents, like the president of Ghana, who may not be within that circle that they're talking about, but West Africa is a region where they do a lot of things together. But we know that Boko Haram and how to tackle the problem is at the heart of it. So the inauguration is over. It was over about 1 p.m. local time, and they headed off for lunch. That's the VVIP. So probably on the sidelines of the lunch, they may have that meeting, but we're waiting for the details of the outcome of the meeting.
Yeah, certainly. You know, there have been talks about collaborations between, you know, countries in the region, particularly those that share the borders that are said to be porous, why Boko Haram has been able to really integrate or get into some countries, wreaking havoc. What kind of collaborations do you think that it might likely happen after the outcome of this particular meeting? Which countries do you think will be working closely together, especially outside the wider region?
Of course, we have the countries that are sharing borders. We have the president of Benin Republic here, president of Chad, and some other presidents in the region and the wider continent. So we know that sharing of intelligence is at the heart of tackling any security issue. So probably following on from the meeting in France and other meetings in the region, because security has also been, you know, West Africa has housed a lot of the unrest we had on the continent. So sharing of intelligence must be at the top of that. Once you are high up there intelligence-wise, you know that you can be one step or two ahead of those who are threatening the security of the region. So the bigger countries who are strong military-wise have already pledged support for the countries that are concerned, but you can't, as we've seen globally, you can actually look away from one country that is threatened because it could be yours. We know that in Africa, some countries may be scared that they may be targets if they intervene in other countries, but you can't look away from your neighbor because it could be you next. So they're trying to find ways and to keep it quiet, because some are actually worried about the update of information, of strategies out there in the media, and the so-called terrorists are not just closing their eyes, they're monitoring as well. So maybe that's why the hush-hush, but we're monitoring the situation to see the outcome of the meeting.
Right, before I do let you go, we do know that the Paris meeting, which took place exactly a week ago, that was, you know, that was convened by the French President Francois Hollande, where President Goodluck Jonathan also attended, is being criticized by the Rwandan President Paul Kagame, who says that African leaders should not wait until outsiders convene such a meeting to discuss the problems that are peculiar to Africa. Do you see reasons with his concerns?
Why you want to have homegrown, that's my view, why you want to have homegrown solutions to issues. And mark you, terrorism is not just within Africa. We've seen America, we've seen other countries that have, even those who have not, been within the radar of terrorist attacks. We have seen that. So I don't think there's anything wrong in accepting help where you are not too strong military-wise, and technologically we're still wanting in some areas. We know that the army, like maybe Nigeria and Chad has a very strong army, but you can't do it alone. It's a global issue, and the more help that you get from elsewhere in the world, those who have experience. You remember the Boston bombing and the speed with which the perpetrators were found. So those who have experience, I do not think there'll be anything wrong with getting help. But Africans must take responsibility as well. But I don't think they're just sitting idle. But it's a question of getting help where you know you have shortcomings.
Right, thank you so much for that update. Our South Africa correspondent Betty Dibia reporting from Pretoria, South Africa. Of course, she was also covering the inauguration of Jacob Zuma as South Africa's president. Well, Jacob Zuma has also been speaking about the security situation in Africa as part of his inauguration speech, and of course as part of that security meeting which he also attended today.
Republic of South Africa,
and will obey
to accept the mandate bestowed upon us by millions of our people to lead this great nation for the next 5 years. Unity in diversity and the promotion of the dignity. South Africa is a much better place to live in now than before 1994 due to the transformative policies of our democratic government.